Hey y'all, so it's your girl Sia, and I'm back with another video. Y'all, so here's the deal. In terms of my last video, I think things were okay. I think I'm way too much in my head at this point. I think possibly more than others, but then again, I don't be knowing, so I always be thinking, like, are you gonna switch up on me at any given time, right? I don't know. What I will say is the work I'm doing is a lot, y'all. And what I mean by a lot, the processes are a lot. Like there's all kinds of steps in between what you're doing versus what other people need to be able to see to approve what you're doing, right? And so that part for me has been a challenge because it's a lot of different little steps and every client has a different little step, okay? And so what I'm striving to do, because they kind of hit us with a huge project, and a lot of the work that I have to do I can't do until like closer to the deadline. So I've been trying to push my clients to get their stuff done ahead of time so I'm not sitting here waiting scrambling at the last minute, right? But I understand that's a process. But anywho, so I have been in my head a lot, I think. But what ended up happening after that situation is actually the owner came to me and was like, "Hey, like the guy is cool, you know, he's gonna end up making a payment." So the guy ended up making the payment that I sent him, the correct one anyway. Or he will be making that payment. And I just think again there was a miscommunication from possible previous, situations. I don't really think that had much to do with me. Um but the whole I affirm no, I'm gonna need folks to start saying what they mean and mean what they say. Like people are confusing and it's not fair to folks who read what you say. Like I understand what you're saying. Don't talk to me like I'm five. Like I get what you're saying, but what you're saying behind what you're saying, that's not really on me to try to understand. Like you should be able to um properly utilize the right words to say what you mean. Okay? It's like this channel I was watching, uh, where the brother was talking about they do this all the time. It's not just them, it's black people in general. And it's unfortunate that our people to some degree will find a way to scapegoat education, or not scapegoat education, but put education down and make it something that people don't understand. Sometimes when you're in a situation where you do not have the power to change it, you've got to learn how to maneuver in it, right? You have to learn. It's like that fine line what Jesus said, to be in the world but not of the world. It's the same concept. You got to know how to be able to jump in and jump out. You know what I mean? And it's not always easy to do because you're like jumping into different entities. Like that when you're going from, for example, when I'm going from company to company, these are totally different entity structures. I'm having to unlearn what I learned, learn it quickly, and do it quickly, and show that I can excel a lot faster. And I'm making today, man, this week has not been the best week. This has probably been my first week that I've really made some mistakes, and I'm nervous, right? But at the same time, I've realized I put in a little bit of work. I mean, not a little bit, but probably a lot of it, right? And obviously, probably not as much as I could just because I'm still learning the systems. Um, I think I'm learning at a decent pace, but I don't know. But anywho, I feel like I'm biased in that regards. It's up to the people who run the show to determine that, right? But it's about time I made a mistake. Like I haven't made a mistake, you know what I mean? And so I don't go and ask about everything that I should do. I still haven't, because some of that I think he knows, like you're slowing me down, bro. You're slowing me down more than you're speeding me up. And maybe slowing down is more of what I need to do, which is something I've been telling myself mentally, and I work through that. That's how I learn. Um, but outside of that, nah, I have to learn these things. These things you have to train on these systems. That's how cold it is. It's cool, but there's just a lot of moving parts that I feel like unless you've been there for a good solid, I feel like the end of my second month, I'll be good. I feel like I'll have it down packed. So by my 3 month mark, I will have it probably, if this is what we do when they're not throwing nothing new on me again, I'm pretty sure I'll have the systems down pat because I get it. The systems are just, they're way more I wouldn't say complicated. They are sensitive. Okay. So let's put it that way. Everything you do is kind of like you probably do want a second eye until you learn what you're doing properly. So I get it. So there was no big deal. I done made a couple errors where I submitted a check. I wasn't supposed to submit a check, but I did it anyway. I was thinking I was supposed to move forward with the process. Obviously not. I'm very confused because they gave me a crap ton of work and I'm trying to get rid of the work. And I'm like, but I don't know that I can really move on the work. So it's mentally kind of messing with me, I think. And so I'm trying to clear my plate too fast without thinking or asking questions. I'm just trying to get rid of it. So that's just a me thing. I've been talking to myself to get myself to like slow down, ask more questions, you know what I mean? And I'm realizing it is the way the system's set up is you have to know the client. You're not going to be able to do well either way if you don't know who the client is. So, um, another thing, I wanted to chat with you guys. What I meant to say was there are people out there who utilize language because I was watching a show where this guy was stating something, saying one thing, and then telling the individual that they were taking it too literal, right? And it blows my mind how many people use English language and they use it incorrectly, but then they expect the other person to know what they meant, right? In the Black community, you always hear, well, you know what I meant. You're always the buzz killer if you're trying to correct or, hey, that's not actually what that is, right? It's very interesting how much we try to put our own definitions to words in order to justify our realities that we chose for ourselves. I wanted to get into because I know that people have been talking about it and it's a trending topic, and I want to be very clear. Y'all gonna hear it from a real woman because at the end of the day, I don't know what the fuck fools are talking about, but I'm gonna be honest. A man with a high body count is unattractive off the rip. Off the rip. You come with disease. It may not be all, but a lot of them come with disease. They come with problems. They come with baby mamas, right? They come with a lot of stuff that I don't think like as a woman is unattractive. Like I don't want to be dealing with all that bullshit. Excuse my language. So I don't know where this idea that a man can do such and such but a woman cannot. No, y'all need to, I don't know where that ideology came from. I think that it's more attractive when a man has a level of discipline about himself, meaning that a man is more focused on his crafts, on the things that he wants to do, his goals, and everything else. Because when he selects the woman feels lucky. She feels like she has been chosen, right? And that's a really good feeling for a woman. I don't want to have to know that you were sleeping with such and 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 such. Like, that's not attractive. There's certain men that I just will not deal with because of that. As a result of it's not attractive. You have like a woman, how men feel about women with no kids or with excuse me, multiple kids. I feel the same way about a man with multiple kids. I'm not about to get with a man that got two or more kids. I can't. Why? I want my own kid. Unless, let's say, for example, unless there was some whatever happenstance, God forbid, that I just couldn't have a child, you know. But if there ain't nothing wrong with me, I prefer to have my own child. I ain't raising nobody's two kids plus mine. Like, that's not gonna work. And I can say that because I only got one kid. And no offense, my kid does not live with me full time. So as a woman, I mean, I got one kid, but she don't live with me full time. Do you understand? So it's almost like I don't have a child. I have a child, don't get it twisted, because I know I'm impacted by my child every single day. Okay? I'm inspired by my child every single day, right? I work hard for my child every single day. But at the same time, my situation setup is a lot different. So as a woman, I'm not taking on nobody's two, three, four, five kids. And I mean it with sincerity. I barely don't even know if I want a man with one, let alone two. And don't let them be by two baby mamas, cause no, man, I'm not. No, bro, we're not trauma bonding here. We are not trauma bonding. Cause see, the damage my daughter's father may do is going to impact me. It has nothing to do with you. So you would never see it unless you really cared. And if you really cared, you would help me to never have to deal with this individual. Maybe not. That's not fair. But you would things would look a lot different, I think. Let's put it that way. That's just how I feel. So for me personally, a man with no is doing too much. It's all about the mindset, right? If you've got one kid and you out there hustling and you doing, well, I don't know about the word hustling for the sake of this conversation, but if you out there doing your thing, getting your money, whatever you doing to provide for yourself and to be able to handle your business as it relates to the child, however that may look. And I say that because I sincerely know men be going through some bullshit. Okay. And it has nothing to do with, I know in my situation, it ain't got nothing to do with me not having my kid, not wanting to have my kid. I would kill to have my kid. But at the same time, I got to play this game. I got to do it right. I can't, because of the situation, I'm at a place in my life where I've got to hope that the child, I feel like I do a lot. I go above and beyond, and I don't what's the word? There are levels to parenting in which I don't feel that I'm always allowed to participate in, and unfortunately those levels have everything to do with children and how they behave and how they treat you. And I've always said, like, I'm just not, like, if I don't have any support in this situation and it's the girlfriend over me all day, it puts me in a real tough spot, right? And so I could either choose to cry and be sad. I already did that life. I already been there, done that. I did that for 10 years and it got me nowhere. I was a bum doing absolutely nothing. The next 4 years of my life, I said, you know what? Screw that. I'm getting my shit together and I'm living for me. And that's what has allowed me to excel to the level that I did so quickly, but then continue to excel beyond then, right? And so it's unfortunate because I have a child that doesn't understand that. She's not going to understand that until she gets older, until she has kids and or she's a woman just living. Cuz honestly, the shit that I'm learning has everything to do with what I should have learned prior to having kids. Okay? And there's nothing wrong with going through it the hard way, but maybe I had to go through it the hard way so that I can enjoy the rest of my life. You know what I mean? Ain't no telling, right? I don't know. I don't know. But I know that I had to learn the lesson a little backwards, but I'm glad I learned it quickly. So the lesson for me was to never, I'm not about to have another child, right? As much as I deep down, I love babies. I love little babies. And I've always loved little babies, like not in no weird way, but I've always loved little kids. Like they're cool, man, when they're when they're allowed to be kids, bro. And I've always loved babies. I think babies from kids are cute, I've realized, up until about really, I mean, they're still cute at 10, but it's a different level of cute. They're cuter like when they're 3, 4, 5. Like, I love them. I love them when they're young, when they're babies. So in my mind, I'm like, man, I think I want another baby, but I'm not desperate, right? So, meaning that I know that I have a responsibility. I think I'm in a space now, and this is what I've always said. As a woman, I know, and I'm gonna get to my point, but this is part of my point. As a woman, I know that it is my responsibility, right, to ensure that I put myself in a healthy dynamic, right, prior to having the child, and then at the time of having the child and beyond. Like, I have to, in order for me, like, I don't really foresee myself having a child, if that makes sense, because in order for me to have a child, I have to be able to truly know that I can depend on someone, and not saying that Imma just quit everything I'm doing, that's not even in my spirit, right? But I think for a little bit, because I feel like I can afford to, or I can find means to an end. Otherwise, I'm not working and being pregnant. I maybe I might, I don't know, y'all, but well, I wouldn't say I wouldn't be working, but I would find a way to work from home, right? I would find alternatives to do the things that I need to do, right? There's certain things that I feel like, with me being, if I was to ever have a child again, I would have to have someone that pretty much got me the way I got me, if not better, if that makes sense. I don't know how to explain it. Like, I would have to be married. That's number one. I'm not having no baby outside. Nope. And I would have to not experience half the shit that I've been experiencing in this nightmare, right? Because the reality of it is, I'm not going backwards. That's not a reality for me. So as a woman, I've learned that one, my self-worth comes first. My value is high. I don't care what nobody say. I am the full package. So therefore, I feel like I am extremely valuable, and I don't care what nobody tell me. I know. But even with that, right? I also know that I deserve positive, healthy, life fulfilling, loving, right? Whatever you want to call it, experiences throughout having that child. So as a woman, I've said, if I'm not gonna have that, I'm not gonna bring a child into this world. If I don't get that house and that white picket fence with the man in the house, and and I can and see, this is the thing too. I'm not having no baby with no man, because I gotta marry you, and if I marry you, that means I gotta be with you forever. So I gotta be extremely selective in this process, right? And that may mean that I may never find the one, but the reality of it is, I can't afford, like, no. I want the vision and the reality that I want because of what I experienced, right? So as a woman, I had to understand that. I had to grow through understanding that I deserve better. Period. Okay. So as a result of, and because I know that I'm worth something, that I'm valuable, and I don't give a damn what nobody tell me. I don't care how many mistakes I make. I don't care how much I fail and F up. I'm only gonna get better, right? With time, right? As long as I'm putting in the work, shoot, I'm the shit. And so how I see it is not every man is entitled to what I got. Period. How I see it is 99.9% of men are not even really worth my attention, my time, my energy, to be in my presence, to be close to me. That's really how I see it. So, as a man, because as a woman, I'm celibate, right? As a result of, and I can genuinely say that, right? I'm a beautiful woman, and I know some men may find it hard to believe that, but I don't have shit to prove to you. I'm letting you know I've been celibate for quite some time. And the reality of me is that I recognize that I'm the shit. I don't go around saying that, but for purposes of this conversation, so you understand really my mindset on this. Because when I flip it, you've got to be able to now apply it, right? Because a lot of men think that if I just give, I'm the prize, I'm the prize. Well, technically, when you have a prize and there's a contest, and you guys are like, so let me back up. Let's say there's a contest. You're at a there's a contest, right? I don't know, pick one. Okay. The prize you want, unless you're at like some like Dave and Buster's or where they can buy the prizes in bulk, right? And then ship them out like that. There's only one fucking prize, right? If I'm getting the trophy, there's only one goddamn trophy. There's number one, there's number two, and number three, and that's it. And they all look different, they different colors, and everybody know which is which, right? So my thing is, if there's only one medal that goes, that's their prize. They won the Olympus one or whatever, and now they got their medal, right? There's only one of those medals, bro. So as a man, in my thoughts, right? And I'm not in my mind as a woman, right? It kind of works the same way. You say that you're the prize, but everybody can have you. The moment you get bored, you looking at somebody, well, I don't really care. I'm not a woman that gives a fuck if you looking at somebody because I know I look good. So in my mind, you could look that way, my friend, but I know I look good. So just always remember that, like in the back of your mind, know that I know who I am, right? I don't have too many men. Well, maybe, yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I have not. No, I don't know that I've always seen a man looks another at another woman unless he really wasn't interested and we're just kind of meeting type deal. But outside of that, I couldn't tell you if a man would look at it. I'm sure they're men. I mean, I don't know, but I don't know. I would say as a man, if you do end up sleeping with a lot of men, it's not really a flex, or women, excuse me. It's not really a flex to talk about how many women you slept with. That's how you do that. I don't know when women started really telling men, like at the end of the day, I guess growing up, that question was never posed as to how many people did you sleep with. And I'm not against the question. I guess for me though, I've never encountered that kind of question in real life, like in dating scenarios. Like I've never encountered that kind of question. And so I don't really know how I would react to that kind of question. Because I feel like if you think that I'm somebody where you even have to ask that question, why are you dealing with me? Like, as a woman, I probably would feel a bit kind of like insulted a little bit that you're even asking me the question. because who do you think I am? It's like one of them things. It's like, when men date women and they call her, all types of names out of her name or whatever. It's the same concept. Like, you questioning her about who she's sleeping with, and she ain't been sleeping with nobody, but you questioning her because you sleeping with somebody. But she don't really know that. But you questioning her, you know? And the woman is sitting there like, what it does is it tells us that, um, who it's one of those things that it's like, what are you trying to imply? Basically, by asking that kind of question, that sums that up. What are you trying to imply? So, as a man, as a woman, in my opinion, it looks tacky, right? I would say that as a woman, I'm not attracted to men who sleep with a lot of women. I don't, even if you did, I don't want to, well, maybe I would want to know nowadays, but I don't know. I prefer not to know. I prefer what I won't know won't hurt me, as long as you don't, maybe we go get tested or whatever together. We can go do that, but I don't need to know how many people you done slept with, especially if you done slept with a lot. I really don't need to know that. Now, if you got one ex that you love and then maybe you married or whatever and that built a life with, that's a little different. Maybe I want to know about that. But as far as who you sleeping with, nah, that's private information. You don't kiss and you don't tell. That's where people got that shit fucked up. Keep your shit to yourself. Unless, I mean, obviously, if you cheat, then I mean, hypothetically, I mean, that's on you. I just would prefer not to be put in that position. So I can't help you there because I've never done it. So I don't know. But as a woman, I would prefer a man that did not sleep with a lot of men. Or what I say, I would prefer a man that didn't sleep with a lot of women. Excuse me. It just is what it is. I don't want to know that my man is just giving it up to everybody. To me, it's highly unattractive, and I'm the type of chick that'll let you go have him. I'm not the girl. See, I don't play games like that. You wanna tell me that you got Shaquisha and LaQuisha and they'll do all these things for you? It may hurt me to see you go, but you better go let them do it for you, because I can't compete with a woman like that. I've always said, when it comes to my dignity and my self-respect, homie, that's non-negotiable. I don't know what to tell you. I have no dog in that fight. So the moment a man brings up another girl, you can get out of my car, and I've done it. You damn right. Don't be in my car yelling at me and talking about who you can go get. Okay, well, I'm gonna pull over and you call them. I'm not waiting either. Have fun. You a grown ass man. You should have known not to be talking to me crazy in my shit. So I don't tolerate shit. I don't have the patience for shit, and I don't play with men. I don't like, for me as a woman, I will give you grace. I will give you as much grace as you have earned. Outside of that though, mm-mm. So as a woman, I would prefer not to know. Now, I do believe in getting tested with the man that I'm with. That's number one. And we gonna get tested nowadays with all these type of STDs. I listen, we gonna get tested every month. It's like, no. I mean, I don't know, but I believe every month until I know for sure, or every 30 days, or however that works, or every 90 days, however that works. But bro, you getting tested. Like, I am not playing. Mm-mm. So I think as a man, discipline is one of the most sexiest traits you can show that you have to a woman, because it's serious. It's like, I can take you serious. What it does is it shows me that I can take you serious. Period. I can believe you at your word when you have discipline. And sex is probably, I probably shouldn't have said that, but that's probably the best form of discipline, because now all of that energy that you have in that, you can now pour into other things that are more important. A man, in my opinion, listen, I don't know, man. I don't think men understand. Now, I know the men say that women, like men with lots of women. This is the reality. That is a fucking lie. Okay? I don't know what type of man don't understand that, but that's a goddamn lie. How many women do you know act out when they see women of their man around a bunch of women? The fuck? Like, I don't know what kind of bullshit narrative that is, but that is inaccurate. Women don't like, okay, so the idea that you're more attractive. Hmm. I would say it's not that you're more attractive. Sometimes in relationships, and I can say this from experience, right? Is that a woman may not be fully over a man, and this is really what happens, okay? But because of what he has shown her, she has no choice but to let him go, okay? For whatever reason, she has no choice because she would much rather go, or I mean, it even happens to women who don't let go and then they're finding out the hard way, right? But let's say, for example, you see a woman, you see him with a whole nother woman, and you done, you in your mind, you thought he loved you and all these extra stuff, right? As a woman, naturally, you're gonna feel some type of way about the new connection because it's like, what the fuck, man? Really? It hurts because it's like, instead of trying to get better, instead of doing the work to be better, you just gonna hop into another relationship without even unpacking the emotions and the situation that you had if you said that you cared about me. But obviously at that point, that's when the woman has to understand the dude don't give a fuck, right? But women do not necessarily, it's not that, and some women get jealous and they get to a point where they act crazy or whatever, but I don't think men understand when you hop into that shit, the dealing with, oh well, I'ma just screw you over here. I told you I loved you and everything else, and I'm trying to get you to build with me and everything else, but the moment shit get hot, now I'm gonna go to LaQuisha. That shit does something to a fucking person, bro. And in that moment, if the woman does not have control over her emotions, she is going to naturally, and I don't get the women that attack other women, right? Because that ain't never, like, I don't know, right? I've never been the chick. I'm gonna attack the dude. I'm gonna let the dude have it. He can not like me or whatever afterwards, but at least I got to say what I had to say. Damn it. But I don't believe in going for the woman, but I'm just saying the woman may appear to seem like she likes the man a little bit more, right? Because she's jealous. Or maybe you were talking to a girl, right? Because this has happened to me, and a man does show you attention. He's showing me attention, and then he starts talking to the next girl, and the next girl allows him in so easy that it looks to him like, oh, see, I got the next chick. But really, in your mind, you're like, I knew what this dude was on, and or I don't know, something in her intuition may or may not allow you to, to enter and pass go. But the next woman may allow you at the first shot you get. And then what men do is try to paint it like, see, you didn't know. And so the woman starts to think, well, was there something wrong with me? Did I do something wrong? Maybe he is a good guy. A woman that doesn't have, strong boundaries, she's going to fall into that trap of, well, maybe I did lose something. Maybe I should, get him back. Maybe I should try to compete with this new girl that's in his life. But let me tell you, when a woman says she don't want you, if a man is not asking questions, because see, my thing is, y'all out here not understanding what is really being said behind the context, right? And sometimes a lot of folks are not emotionally mature enough to even have that kind of dialogue with them. So if a woman is showing you she doesn't want you, and then now you're with other girls, and now all of a sudden she wants you. One is, it's a woman, it's a girl, right? Playing games, right? maybe you're dating a girl who don't know what she want, right? Because that's also could be it. Or you are putting the woman in a scenario where she's now really doubting herself and or trying to compete with the girl that you put in position that you probably shouldn't have been put in position too soon, if that makes sense. It's a lot of men that I notice that when men go through it with one girl, they literally will jump into a whole nother situation, you know. And as a woman, it's like, I don't know. If you can see through it, it's like, that's not a good look. It's not a good look because that means you're doing this, you're jumping anytime something gets hard or anytime something don't go your way or whatever, you hopping from woman to woman to woman to woman to woman. That's unattractive. A man that don't have discipline, in my mind, it's like I don't want to know that I'm gonna build a life with you and you just gonna get up and hop to the next girl because you mad at me today. Like I'm good on that, you know. So I think discipline is a big deal, man. It's big for both parties to have, but men included. Like men are included in this. Not you're not attracted. Like men get I don't think they realize. I was telling y'all about how my ex had sent me some money. And when I met my ex, he had no kids. We both had no kids, right? But he had it like 4 kids. He got like a grip of kids now. So even if he wanted to come back, he could not. I think deep down this one is smart. He knows he can't. That's why he sent me some money just out of love because I'm me. But at the same time, it was like, and it was money I didn't ask for, by the way. He just, I guess he felt to send me a gift that day. I don't know. Right. But I'm just saying, there's no way I would take him back. He's a good man in the sense that well, I don't know about good man. I think he had some things he needed to learn, right? Because he was very verbally and emotionally abusive, right? But in the sense of providing and doing what he needed to do with his family, he did that and he did it with pride and honor. That part I respect 10 toes down. Taking care of his mama, doing what he has to do to provide for his kids, stuff like that. The woman I am now, when I met him, he had 1 kid. The woman I am now could never date him with 4 kids. No way. I'm not ready. Nope. Mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm. I can't do it. Nope. What it tells me is, and I know his journey, more than 2 baby mamas, and not doing it because I don't do beef with other women. I'm too pretty for that shit. And I'm not like I don't got the time for the drama. Like I'm no. So I think discipline is everything, man. It's attractive. If a man I had a man, I dated someone. I say I had a man. I need to start using the proper term. I dated someone. He wasn't really my man. I dated someone, right? Who was very attractive, okay, when I met him. And was very selective. And so what that meant is I was always the girl that was chosen. Do you understand? He didn't deal with a lot of women. I mean, he dealt with women, but he was very like he had his mom, his sisters, right? Um, he was very particular about who he interacted with in that way. Let's put it that way. And so as a woman, it was like when I know that I'm the only girl, oh, it's a great because it tells me you're into me. Like you really fuck with me. All that extra shit is for the birds. Period. Hands down. It's for the birds. And as a man, you should never be trying to use, I mean, you can try to use, because a lot of men, you'll try to use a woman as a means to try to make a woman jealous, right? I had to peep game. The folks think I'm in like high school or something, right? I had a situation like that happen recently, right? Where, or within the last few years, where I had to, I was kind of baited in. I didn't fall for it, but someone was trying to bait me into the whole trying to pit one woman against the other. Nah, I'm good. I don't play those kind of games. So, I feel like if a woman is not into you, she's simply not into you. And you need to know that if she's showing you disinterest, by the way, in the beginning, it's not always that she's not interested. Sometimes you do have to like her a little bit more, maybe, okay? Like in the movies. Like maybe that's a reality. For some, I think there's a lot of men who know that. I think there's a lot of men who understand that a woman is going to be hesitant towards you at first. I mean, especially if she's smart, she's going to be reserved, but that's why men are so persistent, right? That's the point in the men. If at first you don't succeed, try again. It doesn't mean the woman doesn't like you. It just means not at that time, bro. That's it. Not at that moment. Now, if you're showing her consistent, and she finally tells you no, because a lot of women know how to speak and they'll tell you no, then leave her alone. And if she's a woman that seems to be your friend, but you can't seem to read the lines of what the friendship line really is. So instead of like you falling for her a little bit, she ain't really trying to, tell you all that. So now you go get a girl. Now the girl likes you. I mean, I guess. I mean, you better hope the woman likes you. But at that point, I would say give the woman a little bit of grace if she's starting to show she likes you back. I would say the woman that you like anyway. If it happens to be the new girl, cool, then go with the new girl. But don't rub that in the girl's face. That ain't got it's timing. A lot of things are timing too. So as a woman, I'm telling you guys that shit is unattractive. It's disgusting. And a lot of you guys, I feel like men, they don't look as good when you're sleeping around with a lot of women. You start to look like you've been sleeping around with a lot of women. Like it starts to look on you too, just like it looks on the women. Then you be having babies after babies after babies. It's like, nah, that's not the look, my friend. It's not. Getting multiple women knocked up and not being there, not marrying them. That's not a good look. Like that's not someone I want to do life with. You had a baby mom and you didn't put a ring on her finger. Well, that's nah, I'm good. I'll pass. Cause all that tells me is, I mean, unless it's your first one and whatever, I have ways of protecting myself, but I'm just saying, if it was your first kid and you done made a mistake, okay, I can see. I may give you a grace, but I'm asking hella questions. I want to know everything. My intuition will tell me more than you. I bet you. So, men need to understand that shit's not cute. It's not cute for women, just like it ain't cute for men. It's the same principle. You value yourself, right? You think highly of yourself. You believe. I mean, half of y'all say I am the prize. Well, you ain't your pride, no prize if you giving all your goodies away. Sierra ain't the only one with goodies. Shoot. So let's keep it 1,000. If that's what you're trying to say is goodies, and I know men will say, "Oh, well, it ain't the same, though. It ain't the same." Nah, the impact is still the same. You're looked at just the same. Now, some of these young women don't know. They don't know. They don't. I don't think some young women even know that those things are not normal. Like those things. I think some women go with the flow. They don't know how to say. They really don't know what they want. What they're young. They're still figuring it out. So a young woman, you can kind of get away with putting 3 kids on her, right? Um, I'll say this, when I was a young woman, I dated a man very briefly, okay, that used to make me watch his 3 kids all the time. And I'm thinking, I'm not watching these fucking kids. Like, after a while, I'm sorry, y'all, but they're not my kids. I ain't about to be tied down to the situation. I got things I need to be doing, and I'm sitting here dating this man, but watching his kids. Like, nah. So you'll find a dumb woman that'll do it, that'll be there for you, but that's not I would hope that's not the norm. I pray to God, my house. I gotta put something over my house. I think those were gun. I think those were some shots. We'll hear the go. The police station is right here too. So I'm hoping not, but I think it was. But that's really my take on it, y'all. I think that there is, I mean, men can be hypocritical about it, but that's their choice. Like as a woman, that's not gonna make me want to deal with you. And I'm saying that from a woman's standpoint. I'm not attracted to men who have multiple partners. And I'm gonna be honest with you, whether you told me or not, I'm a no because there's a character that's a character flaw. There's characteristics that come with men who do things like that. So guaranteed, if it ain't just that, it's gonna be something else. Guaranteed. So I'm not the girl. Like I don't know where men really thought that that shit was okay. I think women are put in positions again where we get jealous because our emotions are involved, right? And some of us act out that jealousy, some of us don't, right? But I think that if a man is pursuing me, and I've done this before, I played games where I've strung a man along, but eventually I moved on. And maybe that's just because of my character. Maybe that's just because of who I am. But I always found a way to get from underneath those kinds of men that really liked me, but I knew I didn't really like them, but they always kept trying to find a way to try to get me. At some point, I mean, I'm not the girl that's going to use men for money. So at some point, you know, I found a way up underneath those men. And did some of those men help me when I was young, young? Of course. But for the most part, I found a way to put distance between us because I didn't really want them. So as a woman, if we're stringing men along, that's different, right? Obviously, that's fucked up. I wouldn't want that to happen to me, but I don't think that's the case. I think some of these men, women are not really. It's like men are not gauging women appropriately. So you'll see a woman that you really want, but you're not really equipped to deal with that kind of woman yet. You don't really have what it takes to be able to afford that kind of woman. A lot of men don't understand that if someone you got to be able to pay, and this is I know that men, I don't know about six figures, but I'm get let me tell you, I'm almost there. So, and that ain't even an achievement. I gotta get higher than that. I just pray I get there. I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but I'm gonna figure it out. I got a plan, by the way, that I'm not gonna tell y'all till it's done. Um, but I don't know. I would say that as a man, you have to gauge what kind of woman is really what you can afford, right? So if you're a man that's not working, right, and you in my DMs, okay, how I see it is, of course, I'm not gonna be attracted to you. It don't matter how many times you email me. It don't matter how many times you tell me good morning, beautiful. I'm not gonna be attracted to you. I think that I just think that men have to understand that Rules are for people, and people include both genders. And so, how you may feel about a circumstance, you can best believe women probably feel the same way in that regards. So, just how you think a woman is, okay, if she slept with a lot of men, she's this, and this. Well, I think the same thing as of a man. I'm not trying to be with a man that slept with a lot of. I'm trying to be with a man that can get a lot of women, but he only wants one. You feel me? And even then, hell, if I like him, it don't matter how many women like him, as long as I do. And if I don't like him, I'm woman enough to say, no, I'm good. I ain't about to lead you on. So that's just, my point of view from a real woman. I feel like men have to get real with themselves. And the lies that are being told are crazy because that's a lie. Women don't, I mean, it's obvious women don't like men that sleep with a bunch of women. Like, that's not even a question. Like that. I mean, I'm sure you see the results of what happens when men do that. Like, we all do. You can find them everywhere. They're on YouTube everywhere. So that's all I got to say on the matter, y'all. Let me know what y'all think down in the comments below. With that being said, I'm out. Peace.